leaking out behind the defense. Copper taking it at Clark, who just foul her. That was a smart foul there by Caitlin Clark, just her first. And it would have been.
This season, Caitlin Clark was called for 17% of all controversial fouls, with referees penalizing her for incidents that many felt were unjust. Throughout the season, she had to contend with the ongoing issues surrounding WNBA officiating. Shocking footage shows referees calling phantom fouls on the rookie sensation while frequently overlooking clear violations against her. The true extent of the problem seemed to remain hidden, and few understood the complexity of the situation.
Clark? Oh, Lord, it looked like Clark got smacked.
Up there from Griner, doesn't get the call.
Despite the WNBA's record-breaking viewership, largely driven by Caitlin Clark's star power, the league has allowed a troubling trend of biased officiating that puts its biggest star at risk throughout the season. The unspoken issue remains ignored by WNBA officials, with no one at league headquarters willing to address the clear signs of anti-Caitlin Clark bias that marred her rookie year.
And Clark's going to foul. Called a transition take foul. They will, and now Clark gets T in addition. That is an unbelievably costly sequence from Caitlin Clark. Turns it over.
Just loses the handle. Alyssa Thomas able to come up with it, which you can't do. That's a big difference from college to the pros. There's no transition take in college. There is here in the W.
The evidence is overwhelming. When you watch the tape, it's clear this isn't just a few missed calls here and there. It's a systematic pattern that can only be described as an agenda against Caitlin Clark, the rookie superstar of the Indiana Fever. Let's start with the numbers, which tell a damning story that a stat surfaced a few weeks ago showing that Caitlin Clark accounted for 17% of the WNBA's flagrant fouls this season. Let that sink in for a moment. One player, a rookie no less, was the target of nearly 1/5 of all flagrant fouls across the entire league. And here's the kicker. 80% of those flagrant fouls were committed by just one team, the Chicago Sky. If that doesn't scream targeted harassment with officials turning a blind eye, I don't know what does, but the numbers are just the beginning. The real story is in the footage, and trust me, it's worse than you might imagine. Remember the game against Seattle on June 13th? Clark made a basic dribble move and got called for an offensive foul, leaving even the commentators completely baffled. The replay showed minimal contact, nothing close to a foul by WNBA standards. "I don't see how that's an offensive foul," said the announcer, as the replay clearly showed Clark executing a routine basketball move. This wasn't an anomaly, it was business as usual for how Clark was officiated all season. While Aya Wilson and Brianna Stewart could make identical moves and get favorable calls, Clark would end up with a foul for doing the same thing. The double standard was so glaring it became impossible to ignore. But the real danger wasn't just phantom calls against Clark, it was the very real, very physical fouls committed against her that went uncalled. Game after game, we watched Clark get hammered while driving to the basket with no whistle to be found. Take the Connecticut Sun game with the infamous DJ Carrington incident, for example. Clark came off a screen, dribbled to her right, and attempted a pass to Aaliyah Boston. Carrington leapt up, missed the ball entirely, and then, in what many fans believe was an intentional move, poked Clark directly in the eye. Clark went down, and the play continued as Connecticut scored while Clark remained on the ground in pain. A second angle revealed just how bad the play was. Carrington's hand missed the ball, and then went straight into Clark's eye. Not only was there no call, but officials didn't even review what was clearly a dangerous play. Meanwhile, in that same quarter, another player got whistled for barely grazing an opponent's arm. The double standard was impossible to ignore. Clark's usage rate and driving frequency should have resulted in far more trips to the free throw line. Averaging just 3.7 free throws per game for someone who handles the ball as much as she does and drives to the basket frequently, that's ridiculous. Other rookies with similar playing styles were getting to the line nearly twice as often. The discrepancy can't be explained away by adjusting to the pro game, or learning to draw contact. The tape shows Clark getting plenty of contact. The refs just weren't calling it. The lack of protection from officials had a snowball effect. Once defenders realized they could get away with extra physicality against Clark, they exploited it fully. What started as hand-checking and bumping quickly escalated into dangerous plays that resembled football tackles more than basketball defense. By not enforcing the rules consistently, referees essentially painted a target on Clark's back. The more they ignored the contact, the more defenders pushed the envelope. In one jaw-dropping sequence, Clark drove toward the basket and got absolutely leveled. You can hear the commentators shouting, "That's a foul!" in disbelief, but the ref stood there silent. It quickly became a disturbing pattern. Clark was knocked to the floor 3 times in one game with no calls. It was like watching someone walk a tightrope with the safety net deliberately removed. Fans at home were screaming at their screens in frustration. One NBA analyst tweeted, "This has been pretty much the whole game. No call fouls for Caitlin Clark." The WNBA and their officials now know how to screw up a good thing. The contrast in how players defended Clark compared to other guards tells the whole story. Take Marina Mabrey, for example. Her defensive approach against other players was a world apart from how she defended Clark. Mabrey quickly realized she could get away with much more physical contact on Clark without facing any consequences. What we saw wasn't just a few missed calls, it was a dangerous pattern that put Clark's safety at risk. Each ignored infraction only emboldened defenders further. What started as extra contact quickly escalated into dangerous plays that resembled football tackles more than basketball defense. When referees don't protect the player, physicality only intensifies. This wasn't just tough defense. Clark was in real danger of injury while the ref stood by. And let's be clear, this isn't just fan outrage or conspiracy theories. Even former WNBA referees have spoken out, noting that the officiating standard for Clark was noticeably different compared to other players. That's not coming from upset Indiana fans. It's coming from people who know the rulebook inside and out. One former official anonymously commented, "There's clearly a different standard being applied. Moves that would get a whistle for any other star player are being ignored when it comes to Clark." It's troubling to see from a player's safety perspective. The league's silence on this matter speaks volumes. While they're happy to promote Clark in marketing materials and celebrate the ratings boost she's brought to the league, they've done nothing to address the dangerous officiating bias that's put their most marketable star at risk all season. So what's really going on here? Some have speculated it's a form of rookie hazing taken to an extreme level. Others believe it's resentment from officials who don't appreciate the attention Clark has brought to the league. A few even suggest there might be directives from higher-ups to test Clark's toughness. Whatever the reasons, the effect is clear. Caitlin Clark has been playing under a completely different rulebook than everyone else. This disparity in officiating didn't just affect Clark personally. It impacted the entire Fever team and potentially the outcome of multiple games. When your primary ball handler and offensive engine is being systematically targeted without protection, it disrupts everything from offensive sets to team confidence. The Fever front office did everything right. They drafted Clark, surrounded her with complementary pieces, and watched as she shattered rookie records despite the physical beating she took. Imagine what her numbers would look like if she had received the same officiating treatment as other stars that NBA legends have taken notice as well. Michael Jordan, the greatest of all time, didn't hold back in his praise for Clark, calling for better officiating to protect her from unnecessary fouls and hostility. MJ's message was clear: Caitlin is invaluable to the game, and it's time the league treated her accordingly. Steph Curry, often seen as Clark's male counterpart due to their similar playing styles, has been equally impressed. He pointed out the similarities in their games, not just the lightning-fast release and jaw-dropping range, but also their ability to elevate teammates and entertain fans. "She's the total package," said Curry. Beyond the officiating, Caitlin has faced criticism and even hostility from some WNBA players who seem threatened by her immediate popularity. NBA legends like Rick Barry and George Gervin have defended her, calling out the jealousy and disrespect. Barry was blunt, saying, "The hate comes from fear of her undeniable talent." Gervin added that Caitlin's impact goes beyond the court. She's brought private charters, bigger sponsorships, and unprecedented attention to the WNBA. As Charles Barkley put it, "You should be thanking that girl." While some view the adversity as part of Clark's journey, others, like Kevin Garnett and Reggie Miller, frame the extra defensive attention and hard fouls as a sign of respect. They believe these challenges will only make her stronger in the long run. Through it all, Caitlin has stayed focused, her game growing faster, sharper, and even more electrifying despite the obstacles. Legends like Shaquille O'Neal have praised her ability to silence critics with her play. Magic Johnson, who has an ownership stake in the WNBA, compared her to young stars like Angel Reese, saying players like Caitlin are shaping the league's future. He also pointed out that it's not just about Caitlin being the most popular player, it's about her potential to reach the very top, just like he and Larry Bird once did. Despite all the challenges and noise, Caitlin's journey has been transformative. She's bringing in fans, raising the league's profile, and proving that women's basketball is a force to be reckoned with. The good news is that the spotlight on this issue is growing brighter, with more fans than ever watching WNBA games because of Clark. The officiating discrepancies have become impossible to ignore, and social media erupts every time Clark takes another uncalled hit. The pressure on the league to address the problem is mounting. The Indiana Fever organization has been diplomatic publicly, but behind closed doors, they've been applying steady pressure on the league office to ensure more consistency in officiating. Coach Christy Sides has been masterful in supporting Clark without directly criticizing officials. Meanwhile, teammates have taken matters into their own hands, providing extra protection when officials won't. These shouldn't be necessary if officials were doing their jobs properly. Clark has handled the situation with remarkable poise, adapting her game and finding ways to create space and avoid the worst of the contact. But adaptation shouldn't be necessary. The rules exist for a reason and should be applied consistently to all players, regardless of status. As we look ahead to Clark's sophomore season, there are signs that change might be coming. Reports suggest that officiating will be a major focus during the off-season, with new training and accountability measures likely. The real shame is that this controversy has overshadowed what should have been a pure celebration of Clark's incredible rookie season. Despite playing under a different rulebook, she shattered records, elevated her team, and brought unprecedented attention to the league. Imagine what she could do with fair officiating. What do you think? Accidental oversight or deliberate agenda? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Hit that subscribe button, and join us next time for more WNBA coverage that tells it like it is.